Well, we were heartened to learn at the end of this year that Operation Blessing International has crossed the 1 billion pound mark of food and supplies that it has supplied with the Hunger Strike Force to communities all across the United States of America. And this year, that kind of assistance is more desperately needed than ever. There are 50 million Americans out of 300 million who are struggling to put food on the table. And yet another sign of these tough times. But as Heather Sells reports, thousands of nonprofits are fighting back.
While America may be known as the land of plenty, millions find it difficult to buy groceries. Now, an army of faith-based and other nonprofits is making a difference.
People come to us looking for a well-balanced, nourishing kind of a meal.
First Lutheran in Norfolk, Virginia has teamed with other local churches to provide hot meals to the public. Lunch is served every day of the week.
For a lot of people, this is it. This is their only source of food.
The 15-year-old ministry helps many homeless people, and with today's economy, those numbers are growing.
People are becoming desperate, incomes are dropping, and they're relying on the grace of the churches and volunteers and the people in their community to support them.
Hey, when did you get laid off?
As high unemployment continues, many nonprofits are working overtime. Martha Gorman's church-based ministry helped 700 more clients this year than last. Food bag requests tripled. The problem, says Gorman, is not just job loss, but fewer hours and benefits.
And I have so many people that come in the door and say, I'm $2 over the limit for food stamps. And you think, what? And they have a family of 4 or 5 to feed.
Debbie Fava is one of those people. She works 2 jobs 7 days a week to provide for her disabled husband and daughter. But Debbie has a secret weapon, Angel Food Ministries.
Angel Food Ministries distributes 500,000 boxes of food to churches around the country each month. The restaurant quality food is offered at half price and available to anyone who orders.
I mean, at the end of each month, I'm having to look at what do I pay? I need to keep the power on. I need to have food. And just the opportunity to have food at a lower price has been an absolute blessing.
The $30 box has a little bit of everything. It's got the frozen vegetables, it's got the meat, it's got chicken breast, steak, cereal, eggs.
Kelsey lost his job at a furniture store months ago. He's now an experienced job seeker.
I've applied at jobs that I'm qualified for, underqualified for, overqualified for, and you know, it's just not a very good time to be job hunting.
So Angel Food, along with odd jobs and food stamps, is keeping Kelsey afloat for now. Kelsey, like so many Angel Food customers, wants no part of soup kitchens or food banks. In that respect, he's typical of many of today's hungry, people simply seeking a hand up.
It's not a giveaway, they have to buy it, so it's given dignity to folks when they come in.
Helping the hungry can take many different forms. For example, Hunters for the Hungry takes advantage of Hunter's Bounty.
It's an age-old idea. Hunters bring in what they can't eat, butchers process it, and distribute the meat to local nonprofits.
It's quite a gourmet item. They're very expensive. If you go to buy farm-raised deer, it's in the $6, $7 pound range.
Across the country, hunters are catching the concept and bringing in high-quality protein that so many cannot afford. Other nonprofits, like Operation Blessing, help move food from suppliers to food banks. Last year, it transported 60 million pounds of food, bringing it to a total of 1 billion pounds since 1992. No one knows exactly how many nonprofits are meeting food needs, let alone how many individual Americans are helping their neighbor. But with the number of hungry at the highest level in years, these ministries are keeping stomachs full and no doubt nourishing hearts and minds as well. Heather Sells, CBN News.
You know, Terry, we found that there were 18 million tons of produce million tons of programs that are thrown away in the farms of America.
Just because they didn't measure up to the standards?
The standards. They weren't quite big enough, weren't too small. So it's not, whatever the grading standard is.
Perfectly good food, though.
Oh, absolutely. So one of the things that we've done is with Operation Blessing is get an enormous amount of potatoes that are very nutritious. And, of course, we've used brown rice and other things that we've been able to get. But people... It's shocking. It's shocking to think with the bounty we have in America that as many as 50 million people are hurting for food.
Well, I was thinking as that man was talking to Heather Sells that, there's also a certain sense of lowered self-esteem that comes with putting yourself out there day after day after day, looking for a job and not being able to get anything, not because you're not qualified or you're not sincere, it's just not available.
Well, for the hungry, I have a solution. This last weekend, I, junior chef, made a big pot of lentil soup.
I did yesterday.
You did lentil soup? Did you?
Yes.
Well, we're learning how to beat this.
We are.
Well, I mean, mine's delicious. I mean, you chop up an onion and you put some tomatoes in there. And I also had some beans, and it's all mixed up with a little bit of something or other. And out comes something that's absolutely nutritious, delicious, and very inexpensive. Lentils. So if you're hungry, go to the store and ask for a bag of dried beans or lentils.
And then there's a little process that goes
you got to soak them for a day. I mean, I don't mean you just eat them right off the bat. All right.
But it's also good during this cold weather that we've been having.
It's marvelous.
It's great.
But I mean, it's nutritious. It fills you. It's good. And so, wasn't it Jacob that sold his birthright for a mess of pottage? Right. It must have been lentil soup.
Must have been lentil soup.
Yeah, Esau was cooking up something like my lentil soup. All right.
Well, and hats off to Operation Blessing for the difference they're making in the country today.